Welcome back to Monday Morning Grit,
Glad to have you.
evening edition.
Yeah, evening edition. How'd your week go?
My week was pretty good. I had all sorts of little adventures. I've been trying to upgrade my garage, and it's been kind of funny to see the Tacoma Craigslist or the Facebook Marketplace or all the different local what's free and what are people trying to sell. It's kind of fun.
Right.
But there have been lots of if you're on it, there's lots of good deals out there.
Okay. Anything in particular?
I got this couch for $0.
Hey, it's hard to beat a $0 couch.
I know, and it was one of those things where it's like, pick it up if it's still here, and it had been posted like 3 hours ago.
Okay.
But it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, oh, chances are it's still there. So
Yeah.
I went out and saw it, and then it was still there, and I got Macy to come out and help me load it into the truck. The thing about having a truck is you can get the on-demand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to get this couch without a truck.
No.
This couch probably would have cost at least $100.
I mean, if I get a second vehicle, it's probably going to be a truck for that exact reason.
Totally. And then last night I got 4 rugs for $70.
Nice.
Yeah, it was real good deal from this guy down in Lakewood.
What if they were Persian rugs?
Oh, that would have been real nice. No, they're definitely not. That one's a decent rug. Not this one. This one's fine. I do like the red style with a good edge to it, but
Yeah.
I mostly need it for heat insulation.
Yeah, for sure. The cold concrete floors are okay for automobiles, not so okay for people.
Yeah, they sap the heat right out of your feet. I remember we used to go to Arrowhead Stadium in the middle of winter. Either for
Kansas
Christmas
City.
or Thanksgiving to visit the family, and we would all bring a piece of cardboard just to insulate our feet from the ground when we were sitting in the stands with the concrete floors.
Okay.
I remember thinking it was ridiculous that one little piece of cardboard would make such a big difference, but it really made a difference.
Yeah, that's like for camping too. Like they have those little foam mats that you can put between yourself and the ground because of that exact same reason. It just sucks the heat out of your body.
Totally. So right now we're fine. We're at 55 in here, but I think it'd be a lot colder if I hadn't made these upgrades.
Yeah, for sure. Have you thought about maybe a space heater?
Yeah, we're getting there. I haven't seen one on Craigslist yet.
Oh, okay.
It's probably not going to come up anytime soon.
They're not that expensive.
They're not that much.
No. If you're considering it.
Well, now that I have some insulation, it's more worthwhile.
Oh, I think so too.
Plus, I was also looking at last Christmas. I got a bunch of people phone. The battery pack that's to charge your phone on the go.
Yeah.
You can get them almost the same price, and they can be a heating element as well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so that's like like hot pads or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a phone charger / hot pad. Same deal. It's because it's just diffusing the heat of the thing or sending it out the port. So I was thinking about getting a couple of those because I gave them all away, and now I don't have one for myself.
Do you remember when we were at the state fair and there was those gel packets that?
Gel packets. I've never seen anything like that.
I know.
It was like chemically activated,
Yeah.
and then you put it in cold water, and it resets itself.
Yeah, I can't remember the term. It's either in like an endo or exo. I think it's an exothermic reaction, but yeah, that was insane.
It was crazy how much heat it put off, and then you just clicked a piece of metal inside of some weird thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I want to get. Almost forgot about those.
Yeah.
I want to get one of those.
I know, I do too.
Or even like a bowl of them for people to grab as they come in.
I've seen them at other places too, like anywhere where there's like a fair, where there's like a marketplace. You'll find guys with those. Or like the mall. You know how like at the mall you have like the stalls in the middle. It's usually like a iPhone repair guy, maybe a sunglasses hut.
Those iPhone repair guys, I used to kind of be like, what do you guys do? But then I realized nowhere else does it.
No.
Like, there's no, big store that does it. It's just those guys.
No.
Because I had, my screen broke, and they did me a good job fixing it.
Oh, yeah.
I had to go, a long way, and then I'm like, where is it? And it wasn't even a store. It was just one of the kiosks in the middle.
I feel like if it was like a big store that did it, Apple would just like vaporize them, being like, you can only repair through us. But since it's like an army of little like mom and pop operations, it's much more difficult to go after.
Totally, because I think they just buy Chinese imports and then quality assure test them on their own.
Yeah, well, I mean, frankly, Apple's made in China too, so it's probably from the same factory.
Probably.
But, did you see that somebody threw, I think, potatoes at a Monet painting? Like, remember Van Gogh got hit with the soup?
Oh, yeah.
And then
then the glue on the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. And I think it's a lot of like environmental protesters.
Yeah,
but, like,
raising awareness for things.
Here's the thing: like those paintings have like a glaze over them that protect them from this exact same thing. So the reason why they're probably doing it is for attention. So if like
of course
everybody's focused on soup getting thrown on Van Gogh, then of course somebody's gonna throw potatoes at Monet.
Of course.
It's
And you know what I like is it's really a win-win-win. Because the environmentalists, they get their cause, raised, and the art isn't damaged.
Right.
And the person who owns the art's now more valuable because it has this famous story behind it.
Yeah.
That's what art is,
Oh, yeah. It's the story.
It's the story.
Okay.
Well, a lot of times.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Because some of this stuff, it's like, I don't know, about $100 million,
Exactly. It's like, well, wait, but this is the Van Gogh.
It's like, this dude cut his ear off.
This was the first thing he ever painted after his ear was cut off. You can still see the drip on it. And you're like, well, the drip doesn't make it a better painting, but it makes the story, it does make me believe the story.
Yeah, so I
knew a guy who was a harvester for that super fancy restaurant up on Lummi Island, the like Michelin star rated one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's got a Michelin star.
Yeah, it's supposed to be all locally sourced food.
Okay.
Actually, you'll like this. He was trained under this guy who went to like Iceland, and he was like, I want to only do local sourced food, and then I want to go to the harshest environment and figure out how to like make a beautiful meal with like the limited resources of the area. Okay. And so he did it and became like real famous. So this guy studied under him, and he was like, I'm going to do that same concept, but I'm going to go to like the best place in the world for natural ingredients. So he came to Pacific Northwest because we have the fish and you can raise a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
All the different berries and whatnot. So anyway, this guy was a harvester for that restaurant. And he told me the big thing that the chef told him about was there's mouth taste, which we're all familiar with.
Yep.
But there's also this thing called hand taste, which is the story behind it.
Ah.
I didn't think it was a very good term.
No, I don't like that term.
But he said, so like, he would tell him sometimes, like, I'd be like, oh yeah, to get these nuts, I had to climb the 50-foot tree and go to the end of the branch, and you can only gather them one day out of the year. And he's like, you can really gather them 2 days out of the year, but I'll give them more of a story to tell.
Yeah, you don't want to tell them that,
Exactly.
Going to Anderson Island was cool.
We went to Anderson Island this weekend. Yeah. So my parents have a beach house there, and whenever they're not there, I try to take people. Yeah, it was a little bit rainy, but the hot tub's always nice.
Oh, for sure. And that was like my first time ever being on a ferry, too.
Big deal.
It's the Pierce County ferry, so it's not as glamorous as the Washington State ferry. But...
Well, there's pluses and minuses. One, it's a little easier to get on.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to wait in as big of a line.
Yeah. But they don't they have like a cafe?
No, there is a cafe on the real one.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Not as quaint, though. To be quaint, have your own little ferry for your own little island is nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, with the Anderson Island ferry terminal, there's nothing there. It's like somebody should set up something there.
Yeah, especially on the island side. There isn't... there's like the Stillicum pub on the Stillicum side, yeah. But even that is like there should be something at the bottom. For
sure. But like Anderson Island, for nothing to be there, that's a missed opportunity if I've ever seen
I might have to start my own little business. So then I'd have to live on the island. Or commute to the island. That seems foolish.
Well, like, I remember somebody was telling me, like, when they first moved here, there were lots for sale on Anderson Island for, like, $5,000, like, stupid low. And it's like, but here's the thing. Construction cost is going to be astronomical.
Of course, yeah. Because you got to get all this stuff there. And you can hire your own barge and save some costs, but yeah, it's annoying in the labor to get people over there. And then when you're living there, it's also inconvenient.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
there's pluses and minuses, but
also
good for retired folk.
Yeah, and even then, a $5,000 lot is very suspicious. It's probably one of those places that's like a swamp once it's high tide.
Totally. It's not actually connected wires and plumbing or whatever. No,
nothing. But,
I'm glad I was able to take you out. It's cool when it's, we have the Puget Sound right at our fingertips, and it's always amazing to me how little it's capitalized on. How few people have been out on a boat on the water, counting it. But I always look out on the water and like, there's one boat, right? I can see 10,000 people who have waterfront property. And if you have waterfront property and you don't have a boat out on the water,
it's crazy.
Wasting a sunny weekend.
I think so too. I've noticed a lot of people drive around Tacoma with their lights off at night. I don't know if they don't know because the street lights light the streets up.
Oh, because the gray, it'll be dark enough you need a light, but it's not night? Or you mean
it'll
it's
be
actually
pitch
late at night?
black out.
Oh.
People are driving without their lights on.
Oh, interesting.
And it's how are we at the point where we're developing self-driving cars, but we haven't figured out a car that tells you, hey, maybe you should turn your lights on.
Well, I actually thought it was kind of a standard thing, automatic headlights.
I guess a lot of people just don't use it. I know I personally don't use it because sometimes it's a little cavalier and how it'll be
The thing is, it's sensitive when it's on the line.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I don't want to turn it on and turn it off again, depending on which way my car is facing.
Yeah. I'll find myself in situations where it's maybe I should have my lights on, a foggy morning or something like that. And it's nah, you're good.
Well, and sometimes I feel weird. So I remember when I was young, I learned that if you flash your lights to oncoming traffic, it's a signal to them that you had just passed a cop. Yeah. So to warn them that a cop is coming up. And I don't want to give a fake warning that the cop is around the corner when I'm turning my light on or off.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I go in my head about that.
Also, somebody at work parked a F-350 Super Duty Lariat edition. We're talking an 85 plus grand truck.
Nice.
Parked it a total asshole and made it very difficult for me to get into my car. It was in my space too.
Encroached.
And it's how are you going to buy an 85 plus $1,000 truck and just not even bother with driving it with any care or sense of pride?
Yeah. But or you feel we've got that car, everyone else has to move out of your way.
Well, I was there first.
Well, then they got nothing. No excuse. No excuse.
The thing that killed me is it's a very expensive truck, of course, and on the back they had an ad, a link to a multi-level marketing shop that sells supplements.
Oh yeah.
One of those places that the FTC has sent cease and desist letters to. You can't say it's gonna cure COVID or. You can't promise earnings that you can't prove, right?
Well, if that's the case, then you probably didn't buy the truck either.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah, $85,000's a lot less when you're only one payment in. So I noticed you brought your cooler over.
Oh, yes, I
Maybe
did.
We should
take
a look at that.
Yes, so today we get our...
the Frosties.
Oh, yeah, I got ice stuck to them, too. So
we might have to start switching to warm drinks.
I know. This might. I couldn't agree more, honestly. But E9 again.
Nice.
O'Leary's Coffee Milk Stout.
Oh, interesting. Coffee milk stout.
Yep.
Do you think it has real coffee or milk in it?
I think so. Just a little bit, though. I wouldn't expect it to wake you up. In fact, after I drink these, I usually get kind of sleepy.
Oh, it's got like a really rich dark brown.
Oh yeah, for sure. It looks like coffee.
Yeah, looks like dark coffee.
But E9. I was in the supermarket and I saw this and I was like, I have to try this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, that's got kind of heavy coffee tone.
Mm-hmm.
Almost in that direction of like a bitter chocolate.
Yeah, so on the notes, it says collaboration milk stout developed with Dan O'Leary and infused with special blend of coffee from Cafe Vita Coffee Roasting Company.
Huh.
Not sure where that is. I wonder
Cafe
if that's local.
Vita.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
O'Leary, do you know Miss O'Leary?
Mm-mm.
So, E9, that's the fire truck company, right? So, O'Leary, Mrs. O'Leary's cow was the, like, fabled instigator of the Great Chicago Fire.
Really?
Yeah, apparently she had, like, a cow, and it knocked over the lantern, and then it caught the hay on fire, and the rest of the Chicago soon to follow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like one of the biggest fires in American history.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's an apocryphal tale or not.
an apocryphal tale?
Yeah, I don't know if it's real or not.
Oh, okay.
I know there's a song about it, which makes me tempted to believe it's more legend than fact.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that it's just a really good story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think, like George Washington chopping down the cherry tree and he's like, I cannot tell a lie.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not to believe that one. I can believe it. I cannot.
Yeah. See, that's where they get you. That's the tricky part.
The O'Leary, I'm trying to remember how the song goes, but it's like, oh, Mrs. And then the cow tipped it over and said, it'll be a hot time in the old town tonight. Fire, 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 water, 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 save my child, jump, lady, jump.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, I didn't expect to know that part.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how that song goes.
It's,
the O'Leary.
It's interesting how important fires are to the history of cities.
Goodness.
Because San Francisco has a phoenix on their flag. The Seal of Atlanta also has a phoenix on it, and their city motto is Resurgence.
Oh, totally.
To rise again.
Yeah, well, or Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep. Well,
I don't know if that ever burned down now that I think about it.
I don't think so. I feel like it's not the most... I mean, it's already super hot there. I mean, for it to burn down would only be insult to injury.
Totally. The San Francisco one's probably the most significant in my mind. Partially because it really defined the culture after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Because I learned this thing that so there was the Chinese Exclusion Act,
mm-hmm.
where we were no more Chinese people. But then during the fire in San Francisco, it burned down all of the records of when Chinese people had come.
Okay.
And so they were all able to forge documents. So Chinese people were able to immigrate to San Francisco specifically during the Chinese Exclusion Act. And so that's why it's the Chinatown.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. It's have you been to San Francisco recently?
Not recently, no, but I have been to the Chinatown.
It's a beautiful city.
Oh yeah. No, I like San Francisco.
Yeah. They my favorite building, and I think a lot of other people's favorite building in San Francisco is the
Golden Gate Bridge.
The Transamerica building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now they have.
Now that you think of the Golden Gate Bridge, you got to change your mind.
No. Well, now the tallest building in San Francisco is I think it's Salesforce Center.
It is Salesforce.
Yeah, that building's incredible.
Yeah, I have a cousin who works for Salesforce, and he showed me some photos.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of notable buildings...
Oh, yeah. You just made me think, what's the tallest building in Tacoma?
I want to say it's 1201 Pacific. It used to be called Wells Fargo Plaza.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
that's a good guess. It's tough to say, though, with the hill.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's the tallest one. And then I think like those cranes down at the harbor in terms of like freestanding structures, they're like 400 some feet tall, taller than Godzilla.
That's
yeah,
that's true. How big was Godzilla?
He's like just short of him. He's like 300 something, I think, but
nothing.
He's got nothing on the Superpost Panamax crane.
And that's bigger than the Wells Fargo building, 400? I guess that'd be 40 stories.
I think they're taller, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But that building's cool, like the interior. It's very like mid-century in its decor. Like it's a mid-century idea of what like an office space should be. So if you like look at pictures, it kind of reminds me of that show Mad Men.
Oh yeah.
It seems like really, really classy. Another Class A office space is, do you remember where like the DaVita building was before they moved out?
DaVita.
Yeah, I forget what that building is called.
I don't even know what that means.
It's
is that a company?
Yeah, it's a dialysis company.
Oh.
Imagine an entire office building where all they talk about is urine.
Whoa. I never really thought about that. Dialysis company.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's got to do it.
I think they moved to Federal Way. They're going to turn that building into apartments. But
oh, nice! I would much rather have that.
There's a
probably smell better too.
I don't think they did any dialysis in the building. That'd be wild. You know, you get the Class A office
a testing
space
center or something.
Maybe, but the building I want to bring up is more short and stout, and that's because it's a coffee pot.
Oh, Bob's Java Jive.
Bob's Java Jive.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's funny because so they have the comedy open mic on Thursdays, and I'll tell people I'm going there, and they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I know that place. Never been in."
Yeah,
because it's on South Tacoma Way.
Yep.
But it's kind of in a way where it's like you look at it and you're like, "Oh, that'd be nice," and then you're already by it.
Yeah, for sure, because it's definitely in a strange area. It's actually astonishing that it survived. Because it was
it's so memorable as a building shape to be looking like a teapot like it does. Well, and it has a quaint inside. Like it feels cool inside too.
Well, you don't want to mess that up. It's a coffee pot, not a teapot. It's a big deal.
I actually don't know what the difference is.
Well, one's for coffee and one's for tea, I guess.
But is there any difference in the structure?
I don't know. I feel like
don't they just boil hot water?
Well, the tea, you boil the tea in the kettle, but you serve it out of a teapot. You know, the coffee pot, you actually brew the coffee in the coffee pot, but in order for tea, you boil the water in the kettle, and then you have to brew it in the teapot.
I feel like one would work for both.
There's only one way to find out.
Yeah, right.
We'll have the...
wait.
Try it.
How do you know which one it is? Did you look it up?
Well, I mean, it's Bob's Java Jive. You know, it's got to be coffee, right? Java only refers to coffee. Yeah,
Java is the coffee bean in what, Swahili or something?
I think Java.
In Javanese?
I don't know. I think so.
Where do you speak Java?
I think there's a place called Java, isn't there?
Well, I guess I could look it up.
Yeah.
I would have guessed. Because coffee only grows in the tropics. Java is. That's Indonesia?
I think so.
Java for Oracle, the programming language. Java, Jive, Tacoma. Let's say location. Java location. One of the greater Sunda Islands in Indonesia. Of course, I knew that. Okay, well, it's in Indonesia. In the Sunda Islands. I only know the other one. I used to know the capital of Indonesia.
Oh, yeah.
Now I only know two more.
Yeah, I can't remember the capital now.
But, well, let's see. Java meaning coffee. Informal North American.
It's exclusive.
Oh, no. Arabica, coffee beans of plants grown in Java, Indonesia. Interesting. Okay.
But
there we solved it. It's Indonesian coffee.
So the building, it was built in 1927.
Oh, wow. That's pretty long ago.
By a guy who was a veterinarian.
Nice.
Yeah. So his name was...
he built it himself?
Well, he had it constructed.
Oh, okay.
And so I guess he, put together the funds for it and whatnot. And his name was Otis Button.
Button? Nice.
Yeah, last name Button. And I guess it was designed by a guy named Bert Smizer. And, I wonder what made him... Well, actually...
I wonder why.
Well, here's the thing. So at first, it was like a breakfast place.
Okay,
like
I can see that.
Breakfast diner. Which
breakfast makes sense with Java.
Sense. And
the name has to have probably changed over the years, too.
Yeah, so originally it was not...
Because none of those people are named Bob.
Originally, it was not called Bob's Java Jive.
Somebody else owned it, Fred or something. Buttons, Mr. Buttons.
Mr.
It's
Button.
called the button teapot.
The Button. Well, it's a coffee pot.
We've
been through this.
Well, I'm saying it changed.
Oh, well.
Maybe it used to be a teapot.
Maybe.
And Bob got it, and he's like, this is a coffee pot.
I don't know. Do they serve tea at diners?
Depends.
I feel like they'd be like, Starbucks is over across the street,
yeah,
honey.
But back in the 20s, tea was way bigger than coffee, I feel.
I don't know.
Yeah, when did they shift their relative importance?
I feel like it's when people figured out coffee tastes better if you grow it in the highlands instead of the lowlands.
Do you think it was after the Boston Tea Party?
I think
that's maybe an American-British tea-coffee split right there.
I think so. I think during the Revolution, like, drinking coffee was seen as patriotic.
Yeah.
But anyways, so originally it was a breakfast place. And then apparently it served as a speakeasy. I have not been able to...
Oh, interesting. It seems very obvious.
Yeah, well, maybe that's the thing. Like, if you were, like, for the Prohibition, I think it was, like, the IRS that was in charge of, like, cracking down on alcohol. Like, would you check the giant coffee pot?
Yeah, you mean like hidden in plain sight kind of thing?
Well, I mean, I feel like coffee is a symbol of like sobriety.
Oh, and it's like a morning thing instead of a late night thing.
Yeah, you watch the movies, it's like, the old ones, especially like cowboy ones, he's in the drunk tank. It's like, just make him a pot of coffee. He'll be good.
He'll sober up.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Yeah, but... I got that out of South Sound magazine. I have not been able to verify if it served as a speakeasy, but it does make a good story.
It does have some layers to it. You could feel when you walk in, like, oh, this is not a usual place.
No, and it gets better.
Oh, nice.
It gets so much better. So in 1955, a guy named Bob Radonich bought it. Renamed it Bob's Java Jive.
Of course, therein lies the Bob.
And he turned it into so this is directly out of South Sound magazine.
Sweet.
A chaotically themed Polynesian dance club.
Great description of it. That actually really grabs it. Polynesian themed chaotic.
Complete with 2 macaque monkeys named Java and Jive.
No way. Were they real monkeys?
Yes, they were real.
There were 2 real monkeys named Java and Jive?
Yes, at this place.
Wow, that's great. That's cool. I didn't know that at all.
What's up with
Tacoma and having monkeys?
Having primates as pets. Like the B&I had Ivan the gorilla, right?
Yeah, right.
I wonder what other places had pet primates.
Well, I think maybe it was just more common for, like, there was less stringent regulations on those things.
Sure, but maybe it was easier to get monkeys, like, on this side, shipping them in from, like, the old world.
Totally, exactly.
Because I think a macaque is an old world monkey. I think they...
Oh.
There's the new world monkeys and the old world monkeys.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Where are they? Where do they live? Where are they native to?
That's a good question. Maybe like southern
Sumatra?
No. Maybe like North Africa.
Oh, okay.
Like,
it's a long way
like
to
Gibraltar, that area.
Ah, the Strait.
Southern Spain, I think. I don't know much about macaques.
I don't know that much about monkeys and where they live or where they're native to.
I just learned that there's penguins on the Falkland Islands too. Like, apparently I don't know where anything lives.
Totally, the little blue ones?
Yeah, it blew my mind.
Yeah, I've seen them before. I've seen them.
So it gets better. The ceiling of that place hasn't been painted since 1968, and when you walk in, like,
really?
Yeah, you can see like the ceiling has all sorts of stuff.
Well, it's got like people's signatures,
exactly,
and dollar bills stapled to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it hasn't been painted since 1968.
Wow.
Which, like, remember when we were talking? It was like a few episodes ago about our Tacoma heist movie.
Oh, yeah.
The sequel is taking all of the dollar bills off the ceiling of Bob's Java Jive.
I think you'd get like $10.
Yeah, it's like...
half of them are torn in half. Half of them are defaced so bad you can't even see them.
So the location is an interesting story. So South Tacoma Way used to be Highway 99.
Oh, really?
And then...
that seems even more difficult to turn off of.
When they built Interstate 5,
mm-hmm.
99 basically turned into South Tacoma Way, and they lost a ton of traffic going through there.
Oh, yeah. Because now there's hardly a reason to use it in that spot. Like,
for sure.
There's lots of other ways to get where you're going if you're going on somewhere on either end.
But Bob's Java Jive carries on. Apparently, Nirvana used to play there. Like,
no way.
Regularly. Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. There's another...
that actually makes sense.
There's another guy who's a...
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I told a joke there about... I've told a lot of stupid jokes there for Nirvana to have played.
Mm-hmm. And then there was another guy, notable musician.
That would be so crazy to see them there in like a... it can only fit like 50 people.
Yeah, could you imagine? Packed. Yeah, they must have been like small time, like when they were playing Bob's.
Yeah.
But that would have been so cool if like you had seen that.
And I can't even imagine.
And then they blew up.
I can't even really imagine seeing any band there that's that's even fine.
So, you know the pool table in there?
Yeah.
In Bob's Java Jive?
Uh-huh.
In the 1990 film, I Love You to Death, that was the pool table Keanu Reeves was playing pool on.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting. They just resurfaced it last week.
Okay.
Like a couple of weeks ago.
Awesome. But yeah,
it's
Keanu
blue
Reeves.
now instead of green.
So Keanu Reeves played pool there, and the film I Love You to Death, which was actually set in Tacoma, so add that on your Tacoma movie list.
I will. I like to I Love You to Death?
Yep. 1990.
Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Well, might have to be on our movie list.
Yeah.
I am trying to think of... I was thinking about having like movie night here and having like a bunch of people over for movie night.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. We've got enough seats for it now.
So, it gets even better.
Whoa, really? What happened to the monkeys?
I think the monkeys died a long time ago.
Okay, well,
unfortunately, Java and Jive
I was hoping it was like, and then the monkeys went to the circus.
No. So Keanu Reeves liked the place so much, he offered to buy it for $1 million.
What? What?
And ship it to Hawaii.
Oh, that's even more stupid. I would have liked it if he had kept it. And what does Hawaii need a teapot for?
A coffee pot.
Just make a new one, yeah. Coffee pot.
So yeah,
to ship it, that seems.
So, but obviously,
I mean, actually, now that I mean, it is pretty close to the shipping terminals.
Yeah.
And then once you're on the water, making it to Hawaii, who cares? Like,
yeah, no, it's no biggie.
It would actually probably be easier to get it to Hawaii than it would to get it to
anywhere else.
Spokane.
But yeah, no, obviously the offer got turned down. But,
why? What did Bob want, and why did Bob turn down the $1 million?
I think Bob was dead by this point, but I think it's a special place for the family. Like, it's a very sentimental thing.
I talked to the guy who runs it. I wonder. I don't know what his relation to Bob is, though.
I think it's on like the third generation of people in that family.
I wonder if Keanu Reeves came back and gave him $1 million again, if he'd still do it. It's probably worth more now.
Well, yeah. I mean, that was 1990.
That was 30 years ago.
Yeah. But Yeah, so it actually got me thinking, like, what other movies have been filmed in Tacoma?
Oh yeah, did you look up? Is there like a Wikipedia list?
There is.
I mean, everyone knows 10 things I hate about you.
Of course, and then of course, I Love You to Death, and then there's um, like there's a movie called like The Cradle That Rocks or something like that.
Okay, that sounds vaguely familiar.
There's a documentary that I saw on IMDb that I think filmed. Some of it was filmed in Tacoma, and I believe it's called The Zoo. And
okay.
I thought maybe it was about Point Defiance, and I looked up the synopsis, and it's like a documentary about a man's unusual encounter with a horse in Enumclaw, Washington. And it's like, I know exactly what this is about.
Yeah, that's not really Tacoma, I don't think.
No, not really, but
no need to claim it.
Well, the guy, I guess one of the gentlemen involved, I think he lived in Gig Harbor, which still not Tacoma, but some of the documentary was shot.
There's a couple of scenes where he comes over the bridge.
I think so.
Interesting.
But
so do you count a movie as being in Tacoma if it says it takes place in Tacoma, or if it's shot in Tacoma?
I'll take both.
Okay.
Right.
Because I do think there was this Seth Rogen, Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie where he has cancer and it takes place in Seattle, Tacoma.
Okay.
But it's actually shot in Vancouver.
Interesting. You know RoboCop?
Yeah, no, RoboCop. I think his place takes in Detroit, if I recall.
It's filmed in Dallas.
Oh. Too well. I was hoping you'd say it was filmed in Tacoma.
That would be pretty cool.
Everyone thinks it's Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, it's actually interesting how like movies will be like, we're set here, and then it's like, if you know like your city's skylines well enough, it's like, hang on, that's
like Vancouver.
Yeah.
Of course, Seth Rogen wants to shoot a movie in Vancouver.
But so Bob's Java Jive.
Wait, so did you find any other Tacoma movies?
There's a couple others. There's one about like
remarkable ones.
There's one about like that Olympic hopeful that was from I think Oregon that like died pretty young, like a runner.
Okay.
I don't remember their name. Other than that, not a lot of like, you know.
Man, we might have to start making some Tacoma movies. We could be like the guy with the mustache from Baltimore of Tacoma.
John Waters.
We could be the John Waters of Tacoma.
John Waters is a genius.
John Waters is amazing.
I admire John Waters. So
he's like, I'm gonna take my town to the top.
Yeah, and like one thing I love about John Waters, he makes the movie Hairspray, which gets turned into a musical, smash hit musical, and then they make another film about the musical.
Of course.
Incredible.
Of course. Brilliant.
Nobody else has done that.
I heard this interview with him where he said if he had his dream is to have a movie where all the main characters are unknown actors, but then in one scene there's a stadium shot, and the stadium is just filled with A-list actors as extras. I was like, I like this guy.
I love how all you had to say was the guy with the mustache from Baltimore, and it's like, I know exactly who he's talking about.
I get his name mixed up with a couple other Johns.
Yeah.
John Winters.
Very
different guy.
But yeah, Bob's Java Jive is cool. After reading like that little article blurb about it, I was like, wow, what a little treasure, you know?
I had no idea the history.
Yeah.
I mean, those are 3 astonishing facts about a building.
Yeah. The
Keanu Reeves story for $1 million, the Monkees.
And then Nirvana.
Yeah.
And the Speakeasy's kind of cool, too.
Speakeasy, I'll give it. It didn't make my top 3, but I'll give you a distinguished award for number 4.
What do you think the password was?
Oh, to get in?
Yeah.
Probably you had to sing the song I'm a Little Teapot.
Ooh.
And you had to do the act out. And they would be like, it's a coffee pot.
I'd like to think it was macaque.
That's a good password.
I don't even know if that's how you say the name of them. It looks like macaque.
Like I think I say macaw.
Macaw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like as if there was a W on the end, but it's just the A. Silent C at the end.
Interesting.
Macaw. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless that's a bird
That's
that has
a
a very
parrot.
similar
Yeah,
name.
there's the scarlet macaw. And there's the blue and gold macaw.
Yeah, wait, now I'm confused.
There's also a hyacinth macaw.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that purple?
I think so. And those birds, they can live like 80 years.
Oh, yeah.
Ridiculous.
I'm glad that animals live a long time. It's sad when they live just a short time.
Yeah.
I don't even really get it.
I just don't think I'd get a pet that could outlive me. That's...
Well, they all could, if you time it right.
Well, yeah. Sure, but like... in terms of
on your deathbed, you get a flea, and you're like, it's a race.
In terms of likelihood, I mean, the scarlet macaw, you can get it when you're just a little boy, and it might outlive you, and that's a real power play from.
Well, yeah, it can live that long if kept in a good environment, but so can we, even longer.
For sure, but I think,
who knows what accidents might befall a human.
Well, yeah, I mean, scarlet macaws don't commute to work on Interstate 5,
I saw a billboard the other day it said something about like 80% of workplace accidents happen in your car.
That's crazy.
Like, that makes perfect sense.
So if I run my foot over in the parking lot at work, it's considered a workplace accident, even though it happened with my own private vehicle.
Possibly, but I think also workplaces that have vehicles driving around.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're working in forestry, you're sure you could get a chainsaw to your head, but you could also slide off the road in your truck.
Well, what is it like? I think pizza delivery drivers more dangerous than being a police officer.
Totally.
Yeah.
Although I guess both of them are on the road.
Yeah, they're both, but one's
more.
Well, I mean,
it doesn't have police paperwork.
Well, the police officers aren't driving their own personal cars.
That too.
Yeah, but interesting thing though is if your squad car is a take-home car, because some.
Oh yeah.
There's
a guy around the corner from here who's got it.
Yeah.
I think he works in Fife.
I wonder if that changes it up. If you're off duty but you get in a wreck in your squad car, I wonder if they...
I'm sure insurance has figured out it to the exact detail, its minutest detail.
Yeah.
So do you got any Halloween plans for the coming up week? There's about 50 different Halloween-related events going on.
Well, they got the one on the Foss Waterway where the people paddle in costumes.
I like that one. That's pretty cool.
I have not.
I saw a guy in a dinosaur costume on a jet ski.
Really?
It was pretty funny.
But
those big inflatable ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Okay. And that was here in the
Yeah, I think it was at the costume. I don't know why I was there when I saw it, but or what I was doing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Although, wait a second. I think it's only I don't know if it's motorized things now that I think about it. Maybe I saw it somewhere else.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
But I like costumes. Costumes are fun.
Yeah, I'd be afraid of falling in the water because it's kind of cold.
Oh, yeah, and then if your costume gets soaked,
yeah,
it could be even more uncomfortable.
I guess if your costume's a scuba diver, it's probably not too bad.
That's smart. And you really should have, when you live in this kind of area, you got to have a costume that can be a little bit of waterproof because it's going to rain on Halloween. I think it rained 10 years in a row on Halloween when I was a kid.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. And you got to wear a coat over your Halloween costume.
That's very unfortunate.
Yeah, unless you're a fisherman, it's not a good look. I was a fisherman for quite a few years.
Is that how you learned the Jaws speech?
I didn't actually watch Jaws until I was very old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure why.
It was it's my dad's favorite movie. I think it's still his favorite movie.
It's an excellent choice.
I've seen it quite a few times.
Yeah, your dad's favorite movie ends up being the thing you watch the most.
Yeah.
Even more than my own favorite movie.
I kind of wish it was Terminator 2 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. There was a while my dad liked The Princess Bride a lot, and then I think he switched over to Lord of the Rings.
The Princess Bride is a phenomenal movie.
It's a great movie.
Which all of the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, they just kind of blur together.
Oh, okay.
It'd be on TNT all the time at lunchtime when he'd come home for work.
Okay. And he would just watch...
Whichever one was on.
30
minutes out of the middle.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yep.
And be like, okay, time to go back to work.
Well, I think he would take a like a 2 hour lunch and take like an hour long nap.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what's going to happen to the riders of Rohan.
So it's like, I know what's going on before and after this. And this is the good part. Let's turn it on and make a lunch.
You know what bugs me? In Return of the King, there's like the one king that's like eating and he eats like the tomatoes and stuff. And it's just like popping and like juices spraying out. That I can't watch that.
You don't
scene.
like eating a tomato like that?
No, I can't look at cherry tomatoes without thinking of that scene.
Oh, what about gushers?
Oh man, I love gushers. Gushers are good.
See, I love gushers, and then it transferred over, so then I'm like, oh, that's like a big gusher.
But the gushers don't quite pop like a cherry tomato does.
Not quite as good.
Yeah, no, not quite as good at all.
Yeah, it's an improvement actually.
Oh,
on the gusher. Imagine if a gusher exploded that good.
Oh,
that would be great.
That would be great. I feel like they'd sell a lot more gushers if they just exploded like that.
I think so too.
They probably have to be a lot bigger.
Yeah, it is. I was just thinking, there's all the different Halloween candies out around this time, but for some reason, gushers never made it over into the candy section.
Where are they?
They're by like the fruit by the foot and the granola bars.
Oh yeah, they are.
And why isn't a gusher a candy? Because if it was over in the candy section, I don't know if you've been aware of the candy renaissance over the last 5 or 6 years.
The candy renaissance?
When they started putting them in resealable bags.
Oh yeah.
And then every gummy company is coming up with a sour variant or a chewy or a bite-sized or whatever. But gushers, nobody's really taken the gusher explosion model.
Well, I feel like the gushers can't go in a resealable bag like all the others because
they definitely can.
Well, I feel like you'd open up the resealable bag and it's just one giant glove.
The thing is, that's
gush.
What happens in the gusher bag already.
Yeah, but they're just little packs, right?
Yeah, you're right. So you only get like 8 or 9 of them stuck together. No, that's a good point. They are susceptible for melting, but man, gushers really should be they're really a top level gummy candy that doesn't get the respect it deserves.
I would be thrilled if I were trick or treating and I got gushers. Yes.
That might actually have to be what I give out at Halloween this year. I haven't filled up my bowl.
Or fruit by the foot.
Fruit by the foot. Fruit by the foot's good, but the thing is, fruit by the foot's awful similar to fruit leather.
The fruit roll up. Yeah.
And so then you start getting like the healthy version of the fruit roll up, or like your aunt makes a version that's fine, but it's not like fruit by the foot.
Wasn't there like a fruit roll up that had like fake tattoos on it?
Oh yeah, on the backside.
Yeah, like you could tattoo your tongue.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like
something must have gone wrong at the factory that day.
I feel like that's a very like late 90s, early 2000s thing to do. It's like,
totally.
Screw your parents. How about you tattoo your tongue?
Tattoo your tongue with a fruit by the foot.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Yeah, I should. Maybe I just don't go down that aisle enough.
I don't. I
don't buy that much cereal.
Cliff Bar's too expensive. Yeah. Nature Valley too.
I like the chewy,
crumbly.
I like chewy bars.
Chewy bars are good. The Quaker chewy.
Mm-hmm. Even better when they're dipped.
Ooh.
And then like a kudos.
Yeah. What's your least favorite candy to get?
My quick answer is Jolly Rancher.
Really?
And I'm not even that against hard candy. It's just a small candy. So if you're trick-or-treating and you get a Jolly Rancher, that's like nothing.
Right.
And there's a lot of other hard candies I like better. Mm-hmm. But some people have an affinity for Jolly Rancher. It's also a little bit too sticky for a hard candy. Like it's got a little more stickiness to it. I don't like that either.
Okay. Yeah.
Blue, it's not my favorite flavor. The green is fine.
Blue's overrated.
Yeah.
More of a cherry or watermelon guy myself.
What's your least favorite candy? Are you gonna hate on the candy corn?
I'm tempted. Mm-hmm. I'm really tempted to hate on the candy corn. I also Whoppers are overrated.
Oh my goodness, get out of here right now.
Oh, you like the Whopper?
Whopper might be a top 10 candy for me.
Really?
In the milk carton?
Well, they
You
also...
remember how you get them in the milk carton?
Yeah.
I've been looking for those milk cartons.
Do they sell them in milk cartons anymore?
I haven't seen it in a while. I think you got to go to Bartell's to get them in the milk carton.
You know what the great irony is, though?
Mm.
I love a malt. Like,
oh my goodness, that's crazy because I don't even like malts.
See, that's...
The great thing about the malted milk ball is you can eat it 2 different ways. You can crunch it or you can suck it.
Right.
And the way that a malt dissolves when you suck it, when you just like scrape a little bit of the chocolate off the edge and then you suck it and it collapses.
Oh.
Then you get and then the chocolate is soft. Or you just do the crunch and it crunches through. You can eat it 2 ways.
I think I just got so many Whoppers when I was a kid.
Oh, you mean when it's in the little sleeve, which is like the 4 or 5?
Exactly. It's too
It's
easy.
another one of those things where it's just because it's small, it gets hated on a little bit. But that's why you get the whole carton.
Whole carton of Whoppers.
I'm going to go get some tomorrow. I love that carton of Whoppers.
I used to hate Almond Joy, too.
Oh, Almond Joy, I can understand that. Because I'm not a big nut guy.
Yeah.
You know, Almond Joys.
Well, I mean...
Got nuts.
Well, the problem with, like, Almond Joy
Mounds don't. Do you know that commercial?
No.
That was the commercial for Almond... Because Almond Joys and Mounds are made by the same company.
Right.
And it's basically the same thing, except Almond Joy has 1 almond on it. So...
Well, you know what kills
commercial
me?
goes, Almond Joy's got nuts. Mounds don't.
You know what kills me about Almond Joy, though?
What?
If you get, like, the fun size, there's only 1 almond.
Mm-hmm.
They could have easily fit a second almond. You can't call it Almond Joy and only have 1 almond.
But the thing is, even the king-sized Almond Joy only has 2.
What the hell is going on? It's not... Are almonds that expensive?
No, it's just because it's not about the almond crunch. It's about that it's on the display on the coconut pillow.
Okay. All right. Well, before we go down the candy rabbit hole any further, you got anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I was thinking if I had any real Halloween plans. But I don't know if I do. I don't know if I'm even going to have an opportunity to do stand-up in a costume. That's kind of fun to do sometimes.
Is TCC having a...
Yeah, they're having the mic on Wednesday, but I don't think it's necessarily like a costume mic.
But
I might have to look around to see if any...
Are they having one next Monday? Because that's when I think Halloween actually
Oh,
is.
you're right. Well, I haven't seen the November list.
Yeah. Well, it should be October, shouldn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't have
Okay,
one.
then
Because
they
on the
don't.
October list, they only posted Wednesday, and that's the last
I
day.
wonder what the hell they're doing.
Well, probably something for Halloween.
Maybe they all get it off, which would be really cool. Getting Halloween off.
Possibly.
Probably not.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah. I was like, I'm partially getting it off. I'm going to be busy next week.
Drew Lynch, the guy with the stutter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's at the
Tacoma
Comedy
Club
this weekend.
Nice. Randy Feltface was just around.
Yeah.
I heard good things. My friend Marguerite opened for him.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah. Well,
Well, I think, should we say goodbye for our Monday?
For sure,
And,
for sure.
I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.